Kevin O'Leary has made it official, having just announced his candidacy for the Conservative leadership live on his Facebook page just moments ago.
All right, he did it just before he walked into studio and sat down on this desk with us. So, good morning, Mr. O'Leary. Can you repeat for us what you told the Facebook viewers?
Well, I've started this journey really on social media about a year ago. Millions of Canadians have contacted me, and I'm enjoying a huge platform on social media in a way to talk to them about the problems we've got in this country. They've encouraged me to run, and I've decided to start it right now with you. It starts right now.
So you're in?
I'm in.
You're in. Now,
I'm all in.
You're all in. Now, you referenced social media. You were on social media last night live tweeting during the French language debate.
I was.
You threw in some words like mes amis, à demain. How are your French lessons going?
You know, I'm trying to immerse myself in the language because it's important. I was born in Montreal. In fact, till I was 7 years old, I was conversing in it, according to my parents. It's coming back. You know, people say, you don't speak French. C'est pas vrai. Mon français devient mieux chaque jour. So I look at it and say, I've just got to get my game back. It's important to do it. And the best for me is to actually work with people in business and ask them to speak French with me, which is what I've been doing every morning.
All right, this is a bit of a change from what we heard from you last year. Last year, you said you thought Quebecers would give you a pass on this language issue. Now, you know, you've said that you are taking lessons. You've given us a sample both last night here on the air, and that you'll be ready. You've promised in time to debate Justin Trudeau. So you've committed to being fully bilingual.
Yes, and my stepfather is very happy because he lives in Geneva, Switzerland. He's always said, you have to speak French here, too. I have to speak French in Canada as well. And what really convinced me was when I went and met with the Conservative Caucus of Quebec, and they reminded me where I came from and how important it is to capture that culture and understand the differences we have in Canada and respect the language above all. They're the reason I'm doing it.
Takes a lot to change the mind of Kevin O'Leary.
No, but it's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. And, you know, I have a plan here. I've got to go and I've got to get rid of Justin Trudeau. He's destroying our country. That's how I feel. You know, I think he misinterpreted his mandate in a horrible way. Going into debt, $1.5 trillion, means that every young person in this country is going to pay for debt and interest on money spent long before their time. It's so unfair. It's so wrong. I can't let that happen.
So let's go back to what you were saying on social media last night, but the substance of it, because on Twitter you criticized the other candidates for not talking about job creation. So tell us here, what's your plan for job creation?
The whole thing is to understand that we have to be competitive as a country. Now, obviously, it was a big surprise when Donald Trump got elected in the U.S. He's changed all the rules with our largest trading partner. I would have expected that Justin Trudeau would have waited to find out what the policies were going to be just 17 miles south of the border and then pivot and make Canada competitive on taxes, on regulations, on all kinds of issues that Trump has already announced he's going to change in a matter of weeks. He didn't do that. He just kept charging through, raising taxes and implementing carbon taxes, making it very uncompetitive for companies in Ontario and Alberta to compete with the U.S. That's a big mistake, and it shows that he doesn't understand what the driving force is of Canada. It's jobs. We can't provide all the things we promise in education, in healthcare, in the military, unless we have growth in our economy and it's ground to a halt.
Well, that's what you think he didn't do. What are you going to do?
First thing I'm going to do is make sure that we can look at the big issues. We have to grow jobs here and get the economy growing at 3%. In order to do that, we've got to strip away all these carbon taxes and replace it with a more efficient way of reducing emissions. I've been doing that my whole life. I'm one of the first graduates of environmental studies under Sally Lerner back in 1977. This is before anybody talked about climate change. There's a better way to do that. Number two, our taxes have to be competitive with the U.S. I'm not saying we have to have lower taxes. We need competitive taxes. And the other issue is the regulatory environment is stifling our growth. There's $129 billion of projects in Canada that are not moving forward because we've over-regulated or we're not allowing them to proceed. That is $8 billion worth of job income each year that's being squandered. This is poor management at Justin's level. And Morneau is a huge disappointment. He's told young Canadians that he was going to come in and balance the budget in 2019, and we were only going to go $10 billion in deficit. He's now saying we're going $1.5 trillion in deficit. It's so big. Just think about how huge that is. There's only 36 million Canadians. That buries every one of them $40,000 in debt. They'll never pay back. That's crazy. I can't let that happen.
Mr. O'Leary, they say that the internet never forgets, and it makes our jobs easier. In August, in an interview in Toronto Life, you were quoted as saying, I don't give a damn about the party, referencing the Conservatives. They're losers. The Conservative brand means nothing. So the question is, are you running for the right party?
Yes, I am. You know, let's put some reality around this. I have been a commentator on television for over a decade. Both of you know that. We've all worked together. I've said many different things, particularly with Amanda Lang, a woman I really respect. I don't agree with anything she says. And during those years, there's 10,000 hours of things that I've said. I expect all of them to get regurgitated. They don't mean anything. They're not policy. Guys, this is the real deal. This is about Canada. I don't care what I said 10 years ago. What matters is how are we going to fix this country? I'm an international business investor. I've traveled everywhere around the world. I'm a proud Canadian citizen. I brought with me this, my Canadian passport. Nowhere in this document does it say that I have to settle, or in our Constitution, for mediocrity, for incompetence, and in some cases, stupidity. Let's change all that. We need a leader that can actually deal with Trump. We need a leader in the Conservative Party that can beat Trudeau, and that means I have to expand the base of the Conservative Party. 18 to 35-year-olds, those are the people I'm going after. Those are the people that voted for Justin that are so disappointed they're still in their parents' basements looking at the ceiling, no jobs. I'm going to win them all back to the Conservative Party because that's my army of entrepreneurs. That's who know me from Dragon's Den and Shark Tank. That's a very important attribute. I'll just talk to them about what our plan is going to be. And in 2019, it won't be an election. It'll be an exorcism. The malaise, the curse of Trudeau's debt, I'm getting rid of it.
All right, I want to talk about one of the issues that has come up both south of the border in politics and here in Canada, identity politics, how that has displayed itself in this current leadership campaign has been through the issue of Canadian identity, Canadian values. What's your stance on identity politics?
You know, look, I'm being compared to Trump on this issue all the time, and it's true that we both got famous on reality television, but that I'm the son of an immigrant from Ireland and Lebanon. There's no walls in my world. I wouldn't exist if Canada had walls. I came here because it was a place for immigrants to come and make a life for themselves. The sky was blue at that time. And I, as a young Canadian, was given all the benefits this country enjoys and can give. That's what I'm worried about. We're losing that now. It's slipping through the fingers of people that, you know, they don't have the same opportunity I have. They never will. You can't bury a 23-year-old in debt for the rest of his life, her life, and their children's lives, and their children's lives. That's not fair to Canada. I got to stop it.
What do you say to members, of the Conservative Party who use this tactic to appeal to the base? There are members of the party who believe that there should be a distinction. There should be a strict rule for Canadian values and what that means.
I'm not going to attack any of my fellow candidates. The fact is, nobody has a monopoly on great ideas, including me. I'm going to take the best of their ideas to Ottawa, and we're going to turn this country around in 2019. I'm going to win this leadership race. Why? Because the members of the Conservative Party need someone that can beat Trudeau. I'm their man.
Mr. O'Leary, you have spoken out in favor of legalizing marijuana, assisted suicide. You've said ISIS is not a threat to Canada. You got into hot water for saying there's nothing proud about being a warrior in reference to our military history. Who exactly are you appealing to in the Conservative Party?
Let's be clear about the military. I'm extremely proud of our military. I made reference to peacekeeping because I lived it and watched Canadians in Cyprus in the late 60s. And believe me, the brand we've built as great warriors and peacekeepers is unique around the world. I spent last week going through the $20 billion procurement budget for our military. There's so much opportunity to do a better job for them. For example, we have the largest border on Earth. People don't know that. How do we patrol it? With C-140 prop aircraft at a cost of $38,000 an hour. If we had a drone program, we could do it for a fraction of that and save $3 billion a year. Put that money towards other investments in military. Look, I'm very proud of them. There is no way that I'm going to abandon them. By the way, our NATO obligations, 2% of GDP, we're at 0.9. We're underfunding them. That's not right. These are good men and women.
If you win the leadership race, let's say you win, you head into the House of Commons, you're back in power, you're going to take this passport. Mr. Wonderful is going to go to Washington. How are you going to deal with Mr. Trump?
The first thing I'm going to do is understand that we are their largest trading partner in many commodities and resources. And, you have to look at it that way. Negotiating is give and take. Think about the XL pipeline that we never got done under Obama. We spent $3.2 billion on that project. That's so unfair to Canadians and never got anything done. Trump says he wants to get that done. Those are the kind of mandates I really enjoy. I'm going to get my own hands dirty in driving business into the U.S. in the right way. But it's not just that. Let me give you an example. Most Canadians don't know this. We spend $12 billion a year on Saudi oil coming up the St. Lawrence because we can't get our oil from the West Coast to the East Coast. We're giving $12 billion to a country where they beat women with a stick. Are you okay with that? I'm not okay with that. We are the most bountiful country in energy, and yet we don't have independence in it. I'm going to fix that. It's not just the U.S., it's within our own country. There's so much inefficiency. Why give Saudi $12 billion? Why not give it to Canadians?
Well, Mr. O'Leary, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for sharing this announcement with us. We wish you the best of luck.
Thank you very much.
And with that, the leadership roster is complete. You can check out our interview with Kevin O'Leary again and with every other Conservative leadership candidate on our website, yourmorning.ca. The party will elect its new leader May 27th, and we're back in just over 2 minutes.